What's good, everybody, and welcome, Mindset family. If it's your first time viewing, welcome back. If you're returning, I'm the Nappy Dreamer,
And I'm Kia Blaine,
and we are
the
the
Melanin
Melanin
Mindset.
Mindset.
One day.
Oh, I think it was it. I'm gonna see on the
No,
playback.
it wasn't. I know it wasn't because I heard you say the Melanin Mindset after I had said it.
We've tried. All right, so at this point, if you're viewing
Oh,
us on
Lord.
YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Melanin Mindset. Locate us on Facebook, The Melanin Mindset. Find us out in Instagram, Melanin Mindset _, and then find us over on Twitter, Melanin Mindset _. And we're also on the tick of the talk, The Melanin Mindset. Now, I have shared in previous weeks that we are also on Beyonce's internet at www.themelaninmindset.org. All
Mm-hmm.
right. So go ahead and locate us on all of our platforms. Make sure you're plugged in and we will keep connected with you. So, friend, go ahead and do that thing that you do.
Also, too, right now, if you're watching, just go ahead and share. Like, share
Oh,
what you're
yeah. Hit
looking
the share.
right now.
Share.
Right now.
Hit it.
Share.
Come on.
Share with, if I see 6 people right now, so if each one of y'all share with 3 people, we should get some more people in here right now.
Uh-huh.
So today's title is titled "To Whom It May Concern," and I kind of was being a little clever with the title, but then as I started thinking about it, the title could have been "The Melanin Mindset," because what we're talking about is things that concern only us, things that we worry about, things that we think about, which kind of in turn goes back to how we came up with this name, which is the Melanin Mindset. So we're going to talk about our concerns as melanated people and things that we tend to be concerned about or worry about that others don't. So we're going to start with our definition. We like a good old definition here at the Melanin Mindset.
Absolutely.
We're going to define concern. So concern as a verb means to relate to or be about. It means to worry someone. When it says worry, it's talking about like personal worry or make anxious. As a noun, anxiety or worry or a matter of interest or importance to someone. So I think we rightfully titled this because these are things that concern the melanated community. Yes. Yeah. So we're going to start off. I kind of feel like this might turn into a conversation, and we also want you guys, of course, to interact and share in the chat with some of your concerns as melanated people, or if you are not melanated yourself, if you have melanated loved ones, or the struggle of the melanated community, please comment some of your concerns as we move through. So we're going to start. We're going to talk about our appearance. So I feel as of currently is not as much of a shock, but how I dress, how my hair is, the way my body is, and even nowadays, especially body with so much surgery, everybody manufacturing their body to look a certain way, regardless of how they were born or how they naturally look. When friend, have you had like some areas where like your dress, the way you dressed, like you went outside of what you naturally wanted to pick because it wouldn't have been appreciated in the said setting?
Oh man, almost every time I would go into the office, no joke.
Yeah.
I definitely am not a business casual type chick. I don't mind a good sandal.
Mm-hmm.
All right. My natural style of dress is more. What did we call it? We gave it a name.
We named it something because we just commented on somebody's post. What did I call it? Oh, I forgot.
Urban glam.
Urban glam. That's a good description, but that's not what I called it. I got to think of what I called it. But that is definitely a good description of what we would call
the way
your
we dress.
Yes.
Yeah, I like to be cute but chill at the same time. So urban glam. But no.
So I got. It's cool. I had a dress experience this weekend. I went to my husband's job's picnic. And so, I was in my head like a lot about like, what should I wear? I know this is a job where I'm thinking like, okay, there's probably more of them than it is of us. But then I had to think about it. It definitely was more of us than them at this particular event. But in my thought process, I was thinking about the bosses. They're all non-melanated. So I was like, how am I going to do this? But then in my true melanated fashion, I was like, I'm about to serve them all of me on this melanated platter. And if they don't like it,
Oh,
that's their problem. So I'm
not
gonna
the
just let y'all
melanated
know your
platter.
girl went up in there looking very delicious. And my husband even got comments about how delicious his wife looked today. So yes, I gave him all of my melanin auntie glam vibes, hood
Yes.
glam.
She was
When I
giving
went to
very much so classic but
yeah,
connected.
yes,
That's the look she was giving. She was
yeah,
cute. She was cute. We should have had a
like
picture. It would be like insert picture here.
okay.
We should have had a picture. She was
But
cute.
yeah, I definitely was very much in my head about it. Going like, I'm like, should I wear heels? Should I wear shoes? I am a tennis shoe girl. If you call them tennis shoes, sneakers, we call them sneakers, but I know a lot of people call them tennis shoes. But I am a sneakers girl. And so I was like, should I wear shoes and be more ladylike? No, I just matched my sneakers to my outfit and I was super cute.
That's kind of how it tends to go, man. That's kind of how
Mhm.
it tends to go. So I saw a TikTok friend that was talking about the mindset, the it's like the flashy mentality type of deal, where they're
Yes.
talking about how black people have feel like they need to, or should I say melanated people? Either way,
Mhm.
I'm talking to us right now. So how the number of African Americans who purchased Mercedes in 2021
Mhm.
far outranked everyone else who purchased
That's because
Mercedes
everybody got
Benz.
PPP loans. But okay.
I'm not there right now. All right.
That was right in the heat of the pandemic. They was giving us money we ain't never had. You doggone right. Mercedes stock went up.
Girl, black people spent in the millions doing that. I'm sorry, billions on Mercedes, billions on Jordans,
Mm.
billions. You hear me? And the jewelry industry saw more purchases from African American. Number one, I want to know who it is that is confirming that it's African Americans. Now, the
Part.
Mercedes, I get that, but
That
how you
part.
know it's only black people buying
But
Jordans?
that's what I'm saying. Like when I filled out my application or when I swiped my credit card, did it say black? I don't get that.
Uh, yeah.
So
So
is there something being read about us that we don't necessarily know that's being read about us?
probably,
Yeah. Because I
probably,
just want
but
to know how you, like you just said, how do you know that it was black people?
right. I'd love to know how they know. But it's like the numbers for us were out like crazy. But then when you look at the poverty level and then look at the percentages as to how we rank in the, line of poverty, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
how did that not change? But everybody, oh, hood rich. That's what we looked it up. Hood rich. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
it's like so many people are doing that. So we found that we're buying the more name brand stuff and all of that by comparison. But then our wealth strategy is not changing.
Yeah, which
So when
makes
it
no
comes to
sense.
your look, it's a lot that goes on us in the community because people are looking at you like if you got on them Walmart specials, people gonna talk trash.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like when I get my check, I have to spend this money to get these clothes. And I'm gonna be real, my husband is a sneakerhead, y'all. And
Yeah.
so yes, I do have quite a few pairs of name brand shoes, but it's all because of him. All right.
Yeah.
So with that, it's like those comments come in so late because
Mm-hmm.
the lag is intense. But yeah, because of
Mm-hmm.
him, I have those, but I'm not getting them as status symbols. It's literally a hobby he loves. So when it comes to
Well,
like the
that's the thing, and
attire,
that's the narrative. That's the narrative that um we kind of need to come back and take control of, because now I feel like I'm going off topic. But even if there are some people who are buying for social status or to make themselves look better, most of us just happy we got good jobs and can buy something better, and we do. And it ain't even that. And let me tell you, as much of a sneakerhead as I am, homie stay in the outlet and homie buy hers when they off season.
girl, listen.
Yes,
Oh,
and it's in the budget when I buy
look,
it.
put it on the screen. Absolutely. It's gotta
Yes.
be in the budget. The first thing we say before we leave the house, okay, when we get
Hmm.
ready to leave the house to go shopping or do any of that, I look at him. All right, look, how much we about to spend today?
This is how
Before you
much we
even,
about to spend.
this is
Let's
what we
agree.
got. This where we at. This where we stop.
Yes.
So once we hit
Yes.
that number, it's over, and that's just
Yeah.
what it is. Hey, you said this is Aunt
Hello,
Darla, right?
everyone. That's my godmommy.
Oh, your godmother. Hello, godmother.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I find that in our community, we're definitely looking at each other for how you dress. Like, just be real, friend. If you saw somebody, well, no, you probably wouldn't, because I wouldn't either. You see
Mm.
somebody who's looking like kind of rough or busted. Have you ever heard somebody else be like, "Oh, they must be broke," or reference to the clothes they're wearing and their financial status?
I don't know. It could just be that I might have ignored it. I don't know. And that's the thing. Like, I'm really thinking, no. If anything, most of us make fun of people who doing too much.
That's a fact.
If
That's a fact.
anything, most of us make fun of somebody who's doing too much. Somebody that's hard out, or that you see they down and out. Like, no, but I mean, there was a current situation we had where we were amongst some people and somebody was looking a little rough. And it was like, well, it wasn't necessarily a concern of like making fun of that person. We wanted to know if that person was okay. Like, blink twice if you need help. So,
So I didn't pull up the specific jewelry, but we definitely outrank in the millions as far as the spending numbers go with jewelry.
so I wonder if grills fall under jewelry or under
Yes.
something else. Because let me tell you, especially these men out here, because there's some girls too, they be dropping commas on their mouth on these grills. The gold and the diamonds and all of that.
Getting them diamonds attached to their teeth and whatnot. I ain't got time.
Well, so that worrying about your appearance and not just putting on what you naturally feel comfortable in, rather than going because you feel like you don't want to
need
be
to fit
judged,
in.
or you don't want to be the oddball out in where you are.
Yeah. I see a note on
Definitely
here.
a concern of the melanated community.
Yeah. And then it's like, am I relaxed? Am I natural? Do I wear weave? Do I not?
Now you know me.
Y'all have seen different variations of her.
You look
We
at our
were
screen.
we were going through our edits, not edits, our playbacks where she was organizing her part and I'm doing mine. And she's looking like my hair is different in every one of
Every
these things.
episode. Every episode I got a different hairstyle. But that's just me. That's something I like to do. I like to change up my hair. And I can. And that's another thing too. I feel like, a lot of us are confined to what we have the ability to or access to. So, I might be a girl that want to wear the weaves and stuff, but have you seen how much this stuff costs?
Girl, you see, I locked up
That's
my
why
hair.
as many weaves as y'all see me in, they don't go too far past here, because after here, hair get expensive.
That girl said after it passed the ear, no sir.
It gets a little expensive.
Yes, and then also, do you find yourself conforming with how you put your clothes on your body, like how you were talking earlier about your outfit or whatnot? Do you ever feel like you conform with the way you dress your body? I know I do from time to time, but I think when you and I get together, it's just kind of like whatever, you put on whatever make you feel cute and go about your day. But But when I'm solo, it's a little different. Like I might be like, well, I don't want all that attention or anything like that. I don't want anybody looking at me. So I might cover myself up just to make sure ain't nobody talking, Because that's a big thing in our community. That is a huge thing in our community.
I think I do it just so y'all can have something to talk about. Like I get extra just so y'all can talk about me. Leave the other people alone. You want to have somebody to talk about? I'll be that person.
Got it. You lost me. You lost me for a second.
Because I don't care. Yes, I'm bringing my big self up in here with the shortest skirt I could find. Yes, boobs will probably be out. My hair is some abnormal color. So y'all can go ahead and talk about me and leave these other good folk alone.
Girl, not the boobs. Not the boobs.
The boobs were the highlight of the weekend, child.
So to those who are viewing right now, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn on those notification bells so you're amongst the first to know when the Melanin Mindset goes live. But share with us some of the things that you feel are big in our community, not even just amongst our community, but things that affect our community, right? So the next point we have on here is about your speech. I have been told so many times I talk like a white girl.
Mm-hmm.
What does a
Yeah.
white girl talk like?
Yeah. Apparently.
So I can't be well spoken and black. Those two things cannot coexist.
You also have to consider who said you talk like a white girl.
Mm,
So sometimes I do. I hear certain things, and I'm immediately ready to get defensive, but then I have to settle myself and consider the source. You know what I'm saying?
mm.
Somebody might say that to me, but I feel like it coming from a non-melanated person might be more offensive to me than it coming from a melanated person.
Mm. We watched that one TikTok where the guy was saying about how he shouldn't have to adjust because that's not what he was exposed to.
And he
You know, they
doesn't
were
have
calling
to.
him right, and they were calling him Carlton. So basically saying
Yeah, and see,
he's a
but
nerdy black dude.
first of all, he was ignorant, and that was another one of those situations where when he first started talking, I felt myself getting offended, and then I said, okay. As he continued on, I was like, no, this is just an ignorant person. Doesn't matter if he black, white, purple, or green. He's ignorant. He got some learning to do. He's gonna look back on that video 5 years from now and be like, man, I was stupid.
He probably looking at that video right now, feeling like
Yeah, I'm pretty sure because the comments, yeah, they went in on homeboy.
oh,
They
they ate
went
him
in
alive.
on homeboy real bad.
Oh yeah.
And
What does
so
this say?
like he kind of was making it seem like, but if he listened to himself, because he said something along the lines of, oh, because I speak proper or I dress a certain way, y'all making this, he said, like, you're making it seem like I'm white, calling me Carlton and stuff. And so I was like, do they realize Carlton was black? Carlton was black.
It's definitely black.
They didn't call you Billy Bob Thornton. They called you Carlton. Carlton was black. So I don't. Your point is irrelevant.
I cannot deal. So
Yeah.
Stan says many of us tend to change our voice depending on who we're talking to. Now, Stan, you know, if I chill out, I definitely sound different. But when I'm talking with purpose, I sound. This is just what comes out of my mouth. Like even when we're just sitting there talking, like this is just what comes out of my mouth. I feel like I gotta express, you know, clearly what I'm trying to say. But if I get real chill,
at times.
yeah, true. You go ahead and comment, friend. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. Just go. Go on.
No, but with the whole speech thing, I know sometimes when I'm speaking to certain people, I want to make sure they understand what I'm saying. So I may cut out slang and use just regular proper words, but it's not because I want to sound like or anything. I just want you to understand what I'm saying without you being confused by any jargon.
Right.
Yeah.
See, for me, my students used to be like, they wanted to name my customer service voice because of course I don't name my job, but y'all, I was a trainer for a little bit there, and I still work in that type of field. Okay.
Yeah.
So with the work that I'm doing, like when I do my demonstration of how they were supposed to be answering the phone, and I do my demo voice. If I can't do it right now because I'll mess around and say the company name, it's no way it's not gonna fall out my mouth. But my students named me Candy, and they said when you do that voice, your name is Candy. You just sound like a girl who would be named Candy. Like they didn't take that approach, but they took you sound like somebody whose name would be like Candy or something like that. And I'm like,
Candy sound like a stripper name. So you sounded like a stripper?
I guess. Let's see. Ori said her children talk white, but they sound more like beach surfers.
Which is white. You know, black people surfing on the beach. Still white. Maybe it is.
My gosh.
Maybe it is. It might be some black people surfing, but I'm pretty sure it ain't that many.
I'm about to Google it.
I'm pretty sure it's like keys on the piano. Okay, I'm done.
Please be done, please. Oh my gosh.
But yeah, like Stan said, it's more of the tone than anything. Like it really is just the tone. We're still speaking the same language. It's just the tone. I feel like some people have a certain tone when they speak. that makes them sound either this or that. But some people tell me that I adapt to whoever I'm speaking to. Because
Oh,
my husband says I get an accent when I'm talking to somebody who might be an islander, or and maybe I don't do it, and maybe I don't consciously know that's what I'm doing, but hey, I guess so.
friend, I had to
Mhm.
hold that laugh in. Do you see my eye?
Yeah,
I held
mine did
that
too.
laugh. I shouldn't have
Mine
held
did
that laugh in. When you said that, I was like,
too.
cause my chair about to be broke here soon, fooling with y'all and the
Because
conversations we be
leaning
having.
back and forth laughing.
Girl, I be leaning all the way up. My chair literally naturally just
Yeah, this is what I
that's me
was
now.
saying.
Consider
Consider
the
the
source
source
of
and who the people are associated with you may be more articulate than the company they keep. Absolutely. And that's the
Mm.
thing too. You tend to be a product of your environment. If you live somewhere where everybody speaks very slang, very country, very this, and then you go into an environment where that's not the predominance of people there, you gonna come with what you used to speaking. And if we're not used to that, I know when I first moved to Florida, I felt like everybody spoke a different language. I
And
had to
but
slow
they
down.
do. Think about
I
it. They
had
do.
to slow down and listen. Like, okay, I think he's trying to say. I've been here long enough now, though, so I'm pretty good now. But I remember first going to school here. What? I was like, what are they talking about?
I can't.
And then it started being like when they were actually speaking about something in general, I thought it was some type of slang. Like everybody was talking about the fair. And I was like, what's that? And they were like, the fair. No, I don't. What's the fair? Because at this point, I have had to ask, what's everything? But the fair was actually just the fair. So, but when they were talking about it, I thought, this is why. Because the girl didn't do her assignment and she told the teacher, I didn't do it because I was at the fair. And I was like, so what's the fair and why isn't it an excuse not to do your homework? I was
So
so confused.
y'all didn't have the fair in Philly? Y'all got the carnival?
I don't know what we had, but I don't know. Mm-mm.
Oh.
It might have been, but I didn't ever experience it or knew what it was. So, no, I didn't know what. And like I said, the girl said, "Oh, I didn't do it because I was at the fair." So I was like, to me, it couldn't have been a carnival for you to sit up here and tell the teacher in front of the whole class. That's why you didn't do your homework. So in my head, I was like, "Well, what is the fair?"
Girl, listen, them college students hit different. They
Very
definitely hit
much so.
different. Oh
Very much
yeah.
so.
The first time I was told somebody went to go have fun instead of doing their assignment, I was blown. I was
Yeah.
blown. So Stan said the thing about speech is people try to adapt to the environment they're in. I'm not a fan of that. If
Mm-hmm.
you can hold a conversation, it's natural.
That
Yeah,
part.
I think I adapt, but not in that aspect. It depends on what I'm attempting to do. Why are you laughing? Why are you
He
laughing?
said in Philly, the only fair is car fair. You better have that car fair. If you
I'm
trying to
so
go
done.
somewhere.
My thing
Yeah.
is, it's just when I'm talking, it like if we chilling, we vibing or whatever, I might sound quite a bit different, but that's just my comfortable, unguarded state. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? That's my comfortable, safe space. So yeah, I do sound a bit different because I'm not. I know you get me, so I can just talk however I'm talking at the time. And the other
Yeah,
time, I have to speak up, speak clear, so that way I can be sure you get the message when I bring it.
that
So,
part.
what about getting jobs? So it says here, being the person at work, only being asked to help when the
Yeah. Like even yeah. Even just applying for jobs. We talked about that with the name episode.
uh
Like
huh.
I do know some people who will change their name and their date of birth. Because that's not only a race thing, that's an age thing too. Like sometimes people will think you're too old for a certain job. So I know people who will actually change their year on their date of birth just not to get profiled in the initial looking at my resume. And then, once I get offered the
Oh,
job,
that
okay,
that was a typo.
I'll,
My
t-
bad.
I'll tell you my real. It said 92. I meant to put 62.
I quit at
So
my
yeah.
life.
And then it's
So
like, are your credentials as equal to other people's credentials? Because, for the longest, it was like, you got to get your degree. You got to have your bachelor's degree. We can't pay you this much because you don't have a degree. or you can't get this position because you don't have a degree. Well, now that the numbers of melanated people getting degrees has increased, now it's you got to have a master's. The bachelor's is no longer good enough. Now you got to have a master's. Oh, okay, I see what's happening here. It's just like as soon as now everybody's getting to the point where I can meet the bar, you want to move it again. Like I finally could jump high enough to grab this, and then you're gonna move it again. Why? What's the reasoning?
Right,
And the
right,
only
right.
in
Or
my
the
head, the only
excuses.
reasoning is because you see more of us doing it.
Right. So now it's like instead of needing a high school diploma, you need a 2 year degree. Instead of
Yeah,
needing a 2 year degree, it went to a bachelor's or
a
higher.
bachelor.
Then
Yeah.
they're like masters preferred. So that
Yes.
way they can get around not giving you the opportunity. I'm gonna just let
Or
y'all know
they could
straight
get
up.
around giving you the opportunity with the least amount of pay.
Right.
Because
Because
now
if
it's
it's
like, okay, I'll
masters
give you the
preferred,
opportunity, but we're gonna start you here. If you had your master's, we could have started you here. It's like, okay.
have you ever experienced, or any of you all out there viewing, have you ever experienced getting that baseline? So once you reach a certain point, there's a lot of times where it has like a salary cap, but then it has the entry pay for the same
Mm-hmm.
role. So
Mm-hmm.
you might hit your salary cap, which is amazing, but there are some people who are going to come in that bracket further along than you. Why?
Mm-hmm.
And they'll use those rationales to validate it, like to make
Yeah.
it seem like it was right. And
Yeah.
I have debated pay before, honey.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
know what I'm worth. So
Mm-hmm.
when you send me that email, if you want to, I will send it back. Like I will send it
You
back.
gonna counter. You gonna counter.
I do, and I do. And I do. And sometimes I'm outlandish when I counter, and then they come back and give me what I actually wanted anyway. And so you got to be outlandish. But at the same time, sometimes we have to be mindful of how we're demanding what we demand too. Because I do notice that in our community. I was sharing with
Mm-hmm.
someone the other day. I was like, as melanated people, we should be able to be cohesive when given the opportunity.
What?
We should be able to be cohesive when given the opportunity. Like we should be able to work together when given
Oh
the
yeah.
platform to work together. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like when we get the opportunity, we're fitting the stereotypes. I shared that with somebody the other day, and I want to say that concerns the melanin community as a whole. That is my message to the melanin community. I noticed you put a bunch of us melanated people in the room, especially competing for the same job. It's a wrap.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
absolutely a wrap.
Yeah. And then also too, like, have you ever? I mean, I don't know. I have had situations where I thought about applying or going to like taking a certain opportunity, but then just didn't because I didn't feel like I would fit in, or
I've
like
been there.
being the token black girl at work, like, or that I don't have time for that. I don't have time because I'm gonna check you every time you say something dumb to me, and before you know it, I will be the hostile black woman. Like, because I don't care what nobody say. Sometimes there's got a story. Y'all know I always got a story for you. A friend of mine was just telling me this past weekend his job had like flag day, like represent where you from. Now my friend is black American. So one of the white ladies at work gonna ask him, "Oh, okay. Well, what flag are you putting out?" First of all, why you asking me that question? Please, why are you asking me that question, ma'am? So he told her the Black Lives Matter flag. She goes, "Oh, that's not a real flag. Why ain't it?" She said that to the wrong person, and I won't go into the way the conversation continued on. But why? Like, what? What? First of all, and that's the thing. Like, when you come to me with these questions, and I would love to know if anybody is non-melanated. Like, what was her? What was she really trying to achieve in that? You work with me for years. You know I'm black and I'm from Florida. Which flag do you think of? What flag would you assume I'm gonna have?
I don't have a comment for that one because that just caught me all the way off guard. I wasn't ready for that one, friend. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh man, let me comment to Stan real quick. He said I got targeted for questioning my pay. He said I got targeted for questioning my pay. Stan, I've heard some people who have said those types of things before. I'm I don't know. I think my it has a lot to do sometimes with our approach. I'm not saying your approach was bad or anything. I'm just saying it depends on our approach. Sometimes we got to read our audiences a little bit and go about it. I'm an advocate for challenge. Know your worth, and then what they say, know your worth and add tax.
But that's the whole thing. And here we go again, because even what you're saying, it still turns into a concern in the Black community. Now, it might be a concern in everybody's community, but does everybody else really have to think really hard about, I want to say this way so that it's not offensive, but I want to get my point across? Like, why I got to go through all that? Why can't I just ask you, like, man, I need some more money. What I got to do? Like, why
Right.
do I have to go through all
I
of
can't
this?
just ask. I have to formulate. And it's real, friend, because I formulate letters, emails, messages, all of that stuff to go along with it. It's not an easy task. It's not just a thing that happens. You really have to you really have to work on it.
Oh my goodness. It's a hot mess. Like,
Yeah, and it's
I
sad
don't,
because we don't other people don't have to worry about that, but we do.
but that's not, do they? Maybe they do. Maybe they do. Maybe they do. I don't know. I just know for me, it's annoying. It's frustrating. I don't get it. I don't get it. Why do I have to go through all of that?
Yeah. Because others can just walk in, say it, and walk out. And that comes up to the next point right here with the driving or picking a car.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, listen, I had got a car. What car was that? I had really wanted a Caliber, and my Caliber wasn't all that fancy either. That's the
Mm-hmm.
thing. My Caliber was like a little, it was gold. It was a little, it was
Oh,
mine though.
you had the drug dealer car.
Shut up. I had a I had a Caliber, and so I loved my little car. And so one of the girls at my job, she was joking, but it wasn't funny when
Mm.
she made a comment about how she said, "Did they make you get a cosigner?" And it was kind of disheartening to me
Excuse
because
me?
she wasn't saying it as an antagonizing thing to me. She was trying to like converse with me. She knew I just got the car and stuff like that. And she was like, "Where did you go? Did they make you get a cosigner?" And then that made me think, like, what do you mean did they make me get a cosigner? And then when we were talking about to whom it may concern, all
Mm-hmm.
right, which it can go to our melanated community as a whole, because if you have been told you have to get a cosigner just to get your car,
Mm-hmm.
that is not the facts.
It's not.
So to whoever needs to hear this,
Mm-hmm.
if they ask you, do you have a cosigner, and they haven't even so much as glanced at your credit, leave.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Leave. I don't know who needs to hear this, but to whom it may concern.
Because you profiling me from sight. Why would you ask me, do I have a cosigner? I didn't tell you nothing about me.
Yeah, and the car was in my name and everything. It's just weird that I thought of that moment when we were when this note went down. I thought about that, and I'm like, I'm not gonna forget. I'm not gonna forget. But yeah, when she asked me, "Oh, where did you go? Did you have to have a cosigner?" And it was more like inquisitive. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? I don't know if she needed a car or what the deal was, but she was just sharing how every place is saying she got to get a cosigner, and I'm like, listen, if you go somewhere they didn't run your credit or even glance at your credit or ask for your credit score, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Then no, they can't just automatically tell you need a cosigner.
Yeah,
They
no.
don't know what you need. And
Yeah, no.
that just turns that corner into the profiling situation, because we got some other things that are coming up
Mm-hmm.
regarding profiling.
Yes. And again, the concerns. And it's the drive the car thing could be concerns both ways. Because some people do it just on purpose because they want to be noticed as a black person of a certain status with this car. Or then it's the other way. I don't want to be considered a black person with this car to be labeled as this particular status.
A drug dealer.
Not even that, because I'm thinking about a lot. I'm thinking about if I get a
You
97
just labeled
Impala.
me.
Look,
You
if
just
I get a
labeled me a
97
drug dealer.
Impala, I might be a drug dealer. If I get a 2012 Toyota, I must be Haitian. If I get so I was thinking about a lot of more than just the whole drug dealer profile. But yeah, if I'm driving a Mercedes, I must be an athlete of some sort because I could not possibly be black
Or
with
a
a
drug
regular
dealer.
job and afford a Mercedes. I'm either
Or
a drug
a
dealer
drug
or
dealer.
athlete or rapper.
Yep. Straight like that. In that order. A
Yeah,
drug dealer, an athlete, or a
yeah.
rapper.
Mm-hmm.
In
Cause,
that
cause,
order.
cause no way that you got good enough credit to get one. No way that you make enough money to purchase one. Like, so let me ask this ridiculous off the wall question. Like, did you get a cosigner? What the heck?
Because there's no way at all that I could have afforded that car by myself. Ain't no way, friend.
And
Mm-mm.
then like a certain like, okay, so like Jimmy had a he had a Honda Civic, and oh my goodness, it was one of the like he got it from a Puerto Rican guy who, of course, I'm pretty sure was drag racing it. It had a noise maker on the muffler, but mind you, we were 20 something with 5 kids, broke, busted, and disgusted. We bought this little Honda Civic for $1,000, and that was what got us around at the time. When I tell you he got pulled over so much, we got rid of that car so fast because the amount of tickets we were paying was like a daggone car note. He got or he was spending more time at the courts fighting for being unjustly pulled over. And it's like, yeah, you could go to the courts and fight for your tickets, but who wants to keep doing that? Why do I have to keep doing that just because I'm a young black man in a car that goes fast?
Right. And then it says interacting with the police. This is something that impacts the melanated community in a unsettling way.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said that we were going to turn that corner, and we starting to turn it, and it just gets more unsettling as this rolls on. But
Mm-hmm.
dealing with the police, like, friend, when's the last time you were pulled over?
Not that long. Well, maybe about 5 years ago, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, and it was Jimmy was driving,
Mm.
and we were following behind a friend because his tire had went flat. So we was trying to slow drive the car back to his job so that they could leave it there, get it towed or whatever, instead of leaving it where he had broke down. And we got pulled over for driving too slow. And when the cop came to the car, my husband was so nervous. He just started diverging every information. He was like, yeah, my friend got a flat tire. We just came from the gas station. The one back there on the corner right there, that one right there. And even the cop was like, Jimmy, is it? Calm down. Because you could tell like we were so on edge because I don't know if you know where High Ridge is, that street right where Jimmy's job is, that dark road
Yes,
minus.
yes, yes,
We were there at like 2 a.m. So it was nerve wracking.
absolutely.
Wasn't gonna be no witnesses. So it
Uh-uh.
was very nerve wracking. And then the guy whose car had broke down, he was he's a veteran and he was like fresh out the military. He get out the car yelling at the cop like, "What you pulling us over for?" And we like, "If you don't get in your car, I don't want to witness you getting killed either." Like, shut up! What's wrong with you? Get in the car. It was definitely nerve wracking, but like I do feel like anybody else getting pulled over would not have gotten as nervous as we did.
Girl, you know I've been pulled over
Like,
twice
I
since I've
start
been here in
wondering if my
Georgia.
affairs was in order. Is Lejea old enough? Is she ready to take care of the kids? Like, everything ran through my mind just because we was getting pulled over for driving too slow.
I've been pulled over twice since I've been here in Georgia. The
Mm-hmm.
first time was shortly after we moved here. I was taking my husband to work, and I was on the 75. Is what? Yeah, 75 is the main road. Y'all, I still don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going, and I was going like a good 75 on 75, and I had gotten over in the far left lane. And when I got over in the far left lane, I felt like I was kind of, cruising along. Next
Yeah.
thing you know, I saw blue lights behind me, and I pulled over. I was so scared. I had my
Mm-hmm.
brother and my husband in the car. I was so terrified. I started grabbing stuff like he was like, "Ma'am, ma'am." And he didn't even know my name. I was ma'am right then. He was
Yeah.
like, "Ma'am, ma'am, no, 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 no." I said, "You need my ID, you need this, da, da, da." He goes, "No, no." He said, "I pulled you over because you were going too slow." He says, "Where?" He's like, "Are you new to the area?" And I was telling him, I was like, "Yeah, man, we only been here for about 4 months and blah, 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 blah." And I'm telling my life story.
Like,
It just
my
happened.
story.
And I'm just like, basically they say if you tell somebody, and I'm sorry, anybody who might get offended by what I'm about to say, but they say the easiest way to save your life is to tell the killer as much as you can about yourself. Because if you tell them all about yourself, maybe they'll feel bad. And so I just started telling my whole life story. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's just my immediate thought, and that's sad.
It is.
That was my immediate thought, is to
You
just
know, I
tell
got.
him as much as I could tell him. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like, man, if I could tell him, and it was a non-melanated police officer, but the thing is that when he saw all that I was going through, he actually felt bad. And
Yeah.
I saw it on his face.
Mhm.
And when I saw his face look like it did when I started panicking, it kind of put me at ease. The fact that he looked so embarrassed and so like, oh man, this is horrible. He felt bad for me.
Yeah.
And it showed on his face. And so he didn't even check my ID, my insurance, nothing. He
He
just
just was
told
telling
me,
you need to be safe. Don't be driving slow
yeah,
in this particular. Yeah.
yeah, he was like, you go on 75 in this lane and people hit triple digits. So just go on and get over here because this lane is only for passing the truck. So people in this lane be hitting triple digits trying to get
Because
around
they
this
trying
truck.
to get around the trucks, and there's a lot of
Right.
trucks in the area.
And that wasn't a law in Florida, but it's a law here.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I was just like, okay. And then I got on the car and I was, girl, this is me, like trying to get him to work. And then to come home, girl,
Mhm.
it took me a little second. I had to regroup. And then the
Yeah.
second time that I got pulled over, why does his job have something to do with me getting pulled over all the time? Now, I was picking him up from work. Now, see, the first
Mhm.
time I was dropping him off, I was picking him up this time. And I ran a stop sign. Yes, I did it. I ran a
Mm.
stop sign.
You
Okay.
thought it was a suggestion.
Yeah, I didn't even pause. I didn't halt, hesitate, nothing. I just went right through. And
Ah.
um and then when I got to the light, I didn't signal. I just turned left. And so he told me those were both the things I did, but he was only going to write me a ticket for the stop sign. But here's the deal. When he walks up to the car, he stood back from my window
Mhm.
because he's a girl. When I say shaking, shaking, I was
Mm.
petrified. I'm like, I got my husband in the car. Like, if you all are viewing and you've been pulled over recently, or even since all of this stuff has been becoming a regular occurrence, share with
Mhm.
us your story over in the comments section. And if you're watching the playback, you can do it too. Go
Yeah.
on, drop it over there. It'll send us a
Mhm.
notification. Thank you. All right. So, but yeah, it was it's like a scary that I don't have words to describe that scary.
Mhm. And then you are in that, and then it's like it seems like nobody else is scared but us. Because I've been in the car with a friend who wasn't melanated and got out and asked the cop, "What the F are you pulling me over for?" And I was
Oh,
like, "Girl, I was about to
remember?
jump out and run out of the passenger side, but then I thought they might shoot at me." I just kind of sat there like, "Whoa."
Remember what I told you about Miss Jacobs? I'm gonna say Miss Jacobs because that don't put her business in the street. You
Yeah,
know who
yeah,
Miss
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Jacobs is. And so I was coming to Orlando with her. She had picked me up because we were going to do the configuration for the salon in Orlando. So
Mm-hmm.
she met me, mind you. I stayed, I was relatively nearby the hood, and she
Mm-hmm.
came over to come get me.
Mm-hmm.
She met us at the IHOP over there off of Sample.
Okay.
You know the IHOP over there?
Yeah,
She
I
met us
know
there
exactly what
in the
you're talking
parking
about.
lot. Yeah. And so
Mm-hmm.
I got in the car with her and went on and we drove to Orlando. She drove. Okay.
Yeah.
And so as we're riding, we got like right outside of Orlando and we got pulled over. Now listen, let me tell you how we got pulled over though. This person had a powder blue Cadillac. It was a
Mm.
throwback car, but it was a flipping cop.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Mm.
like it was a powder blue Cadillac, and I'll never forget it because she was driving and she just kind of whooshed past it, like she went scoop like that around it
Mm-hmm.
because he was going pretty slow.
Yeah,
And
okay.
so she just kind of hit one of these around it. As soon as she hit around it, whoop whoop, and she's like, "What in the world?" They pulled us over. She literally opens her wallet, shows her husband's a cop. She
Mm.
showed the little wife of a cop badge that's in her wallet, and
Mm-hmm.
she's talking to the cop. And the cop looked at me. This is me. I'm in the
Mm-hmm.
passenger seat, like,
Trying to be neutral. See? Trying to be neutral.
and she over there running her mouth trying to show him this little badge pin in her wallet. And I'm just like, and the cop, I saw him look over and I look like, and then the cop tells her, "What does that have to do with anything? You being a cop's wife. So what?"
Ooh.
And she said, "Well, I've just never been pulled over before." And and I'm gonna paint a picture. She has blonde hair and blue eyes. She's rather
Mm-hmm.
tall, pretty slender, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so, and she starts to get like, like that. And this is me still. I'm like, I want no parts of this conversation. And he's just like, that badge does not mean anything. You cannot speed on the highway and then say your husband is an officer and that's enough. But
Mm.
it was a non-melanated officer, but I feel like he was trying to prove a point. So to whom it may concern, listen, just look straight ahead. I'm telling you,
Uh,
because that's something that we have to worry
I
about, and it's
wonder if he was
unfortunate.
making. I wonder if he was making that point because you were in the car.
It felt that way,
Mm-hmm.
but the way
Like,
she,
would he have just let her go if it was just her by herself?
he still let her go.
Oh, okay. So,
She didn't even get a speeding ticket, and I mean, she was putting the peon down.
mm.
She was putting the peon down. So what else do we have up here? Letting go, always feeling like you have to be in control, like letting your hair down, relaxing. If you're viewing right now, let us know if you believe that in the melanated community, it is more difficult for us to relax or chill out
Yeah.
or, catch a breath.
If
And
we're with other people, if we're with other non-melanated, I feel like when it's us, that's like that cue. Like, oh, these are my people. I could be myself. But if you ever gone like to an event and we got piano keys, we only sprinkled around the event. Like why? And then like, don't you see? What it seems almost innate. I don't know if it's innate or if it's just on purpose that they gravitate towards each other. Like I remember having a class that it just seemed it segregated itself within the first 2 days of class. Like these are people who had never met each other. These people never met each other. They came to class the first day of class. Everybody kind of was scattered. But that next day, my class just naturally segregated. And I could not understand why. And then like my coworkers and I, we kind of would sit back and look at it. Because eventually what I do is I assign people seats. But I always like to watch. That's probably just a weirdo. I always like to watch and see where people gravitate to on their own. So we kind of was just watching it, and I was like, "Do you see this? Like, this is weird. Like, why did they just automatically just put the class?" And it was so weird to a point where it went from like blonde, brunette, Spanish, black. Like the class just that's how they sat.
they literally sorted themselves out.
They sorted themselves.
Oh wow. That's weird. When
It
I
was
worked
very
on
weird.
site and I was working with the training classes, I just automatically put names up. And I'm gonna be real with y'all. I did certain names I read, and I was just like, I feel like they might be too similar, and I might put one over here and one over there.
Yeah.
And so that way it forces you to either A, integrate with the rest of the group, or B,
Hmm.
I don't have a headache during this whole training class because y'all not about to be besties in here.
Yeah.
Y'all not about to be besties in here. But yeah, in social settings sometimes it is weird when you show up and it's like you're the singular cookie in a glass of milk. And
Hmm.
it's like you're just floating around, just kind of aimlessly lonely at these events. It's just kind of weird. Or it's the polar opposite where you go and you're the novelty and everyone wants to be with you.
Yeah, and that's just it's as equally as uncomfortable.
Yep.
It,
So to
it,
whom it
it,
may
it, like
concern,
I don't want to be the token black person at your event.
yeah.
Like,
Mm-mm.
no, don't keep asking me questions. Just don't ask me nothing you ain't gonna ask the same person that was here before I got here.
So friend, down here you talked about going to the doctor or the hospital, and
Yeah,
it says
this
you
is
have
a big one in our community, and I had to like really think about it because a lot of it's this whole stigma of oh black people won't go to the doctor, and I think when we were talking to Kim one time about that. Um, and we were talking, and she was like, "You need to go to the doctor. You need to go to the doctor." But the thing is, it's not so much that we don't want to go to the doctor. We don't trust the doctor. I like I. We might not say it out loud, but in your head, I don't care who you are, and especially if your doctor is of another uh level of melanin than you are questioning whether they're telling you the truth.
right, or whether they're just gonna put you on medication. I told you about how
Yeah.
my husband went to the doctor, and for those who don't know, my husband's lost a substantial amount of weight. But this is before that happened. He went to the doctor, and when he walked into the doctor just looked at him. They wanted to write him something for blood pressure, diabetes, and gave him a water pill.
But never even checked it.
Never checked a thing.
Never checked. You just looked at me. And I often get the when they do my blood pressure, I get the shock like, oh wow, your blood pressure is really good. Okay.
Listen, I told
But
them, I
why
said,
is
no,
that
you're
a
not gonna
shock?
do no blood work or nothing. And when they
Mm-hmm.
did the blood work, remarkably so, he was healthy as a horse.
Yeah. Yeah.
How healthy are horses? Like, why is that even a comment?
Why is that a phrase?
Anywho,
Mm.
don't get sidetracked. Don't get sidetracked.
No, but you just wonder, like, will I get proper care?
Will I
Uh,
come home?
and in my experiences in doctors, like, it's always not always, because this last time I was in the hospital, oh, it was apparent right away, and I made sure I dealt with it right away. But like the whole stigma of, and I think I saw it somewhere in a documentary before, where doctors were actually trained like some decades ago that Black people can tolerate more pain than white.
Yes. Yep.
And it's funny because I remember, I think I don't know if I shared with the Melanin Mindset or not, but I did have cancer when I was very young. And one of the ways that they tested for something, I don't even remember, because again, I was very young, halfway paying attention. Um, I had to get a bone marrow scrape. And so basically what they do is they do local anesthesia and they numb the area, and then they go in with whatever and scrape the marrow out of your bones in your hips. And
Mm.
when he went to do it, the doctor went and started, and I'm like, that really still hurts. I can feel that. And he was like, oh, you will feel the pressure. I was like, I don't feel pressure. I feel pain. And I heard the doctor say to the nurse, oh, you could give her some more. She has good insurance. So it was like, so if I didn't have good insurance, I was just going to have to deal with that pain.
Well,
He
clearly, I didn't have
literally
good insurance when
said,
I was younger.
he literally said, my dad was in the military, so we had TRICARE. We had the insurance from the government. And he said, oh, yeah, she's got TRICARE. Go ahead. Give her some more. You can give her as much as she needs. So it was like, so if I didn't, I was just going to be in pain. And like, that was very traumatizing for me, because now it's like every time I go to the doctor, I'm wondering if my insurance is good enough to get the proper care.
Girl, when you say something like that, feeling the pain still, they didn't give you enough medication. I
Mm-hmm.
remember, and it's sad because that was so long ago, but I was 14. I had to be 14 because I know when I had the surgery. So I was about 14. I told you about my foot surgery and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had screws. They had to put screws into my feet so that when they reformed, they would go straight.
Mm-hmm.
So I had screws and bolts and stuff. And so I remember when I got my cast off, and it's so bad. Like how you said you'll never forget that. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's burned in my brain. They were going to take the screws out. She gave me a shot in my foot. It stung because it was the anesthesia,
Yes.
to numb it. But she gave me a shot in my foot, and then she went to twist to get the screw out because they had to get the screw out. And
Yeah.
when she went to grab it to start the twist, they had some kind of apparatus of sorts. But when they did that, I felt it. And it hurt so bad. I screamed and hollered the whole time. And all they did was take this cold stuff that you can pour, and it makes it really, really cold. And
Yeah.
they poured it on my foot and then just went ahead and took it on out anyway. I'll never
And
forget
you
that.
stayed in pain the whole time.
The whole time.
That's terrible.
The whole time
I
that I got
also
my
remember
foot out.
having one of my children. I had a lot of them, so I don't know. But I remember having one of them kids, and I told, oh, probably Elijah, because I felt like my last child, I was ready. Like I knew the senses, I knew the feeling. So I remember telling the nurse, I said, yeah, it's time. I can feel it coming down. And she's like, oh, you think you're ready? And I was like, no, I know I'm ready. So she lifts up the sheet, looks, baby's already crying. She goes, oh my gosh, go tell the other mom to stop pushing. Now, I don't know whether the other mom was melanated or not, but how you just gonna tell her to stop pushing because the other lady next door, baby, ready to come out right now?
Suck it up.
Like, close your legs, ma'am. We'll be right back. What?
Enough with the hee hee hoo. You stop it right now. She's gonna, yeah, I've listened in preparing for and looking at all this information here, and we're gonna have to cut it right here at this point. And then maybe wrap it. There'll probably be a part two because that conversation right there is gonna carry on. But I saw a few TikToks and things like that, and there was a TikTok or a video, I should say, on Facebook where a woman was talking about how she was in labor. She told the nurse that she was in labor, and when she told the The nurse was like, no, it's too soon. She said, I begged her to check
Mm.
me, and she refused, saying it was too soon, that I
Mm.
wasn't that far dilated when I got there. And this was a melanated woman, and she was told by a non-melanated nurse that she refused to check her. And
She
she
didn't
said,
even
I
check
ended
her.
up, nope, she wouldn't even check her. She said she had to scream to get somebody to come in there and check her because her nurse refused. And then there's another video circulating that just came out where
Mm-hmm.
there's a young I want to say he might be Hispanic, but either way he was melanated.
Mm-hmm.
Young man, he collapsed during his game at school, and he
Mm-hmm.
went to the hospital, and there's a video of the doctor going off on him, talking about well, you have to wait because there's people out there that are dying. They're more critical than you. And she was
Mm-hmm.
telling him to sit up. He collapsed out there and lost the feeling in his legs and stuff. So he was
Mm-hmm.
playing in a game at school, and he lost his feeling in his legs, and it made him collapse. So the ambulance, of course, rushed him to the hospital. And when he got there, the doctor is telling him to sit up, sit up. And he was like, I can't, ma'am. He said, it hurts, but I can't feel it to sit up. And I mean, the video is devastating.
Wow.
And the doctor did get repercussions, so the doctor did get taken off the books at that hospital. But the
Mm-hmm.
fact that it even could happen, and then you think about it, like when it got that dramatic, how many times has this doctor done that before?
Mm-hmm.
How many other people were affected before they finally did something?
Yeah, and then again, and back to what our topic is. Why does this have to be such a big concern for us? Like, why, if my baby is sick, am I more prone to call my mama or my grandmama than I am to call my child's doctor? Because I feel like my mom and grandmama figured out how to keep us alive. I'm gonna let them tell me I gotta take her to the doctor before I take her to the doctor, because
Right.
they're gonna say ain't nothing wrong. Oh, I remember when one of my kids was smaller, they had, you know how they had a belly button that stick out? It was a hernia.
A hernia, yeah.
So I remember asking the doctor, like, what causes a hernia? And he just told me, oh, it's very common in Black children. Just like that. Those were his exact words. It's common in Black children. He's Black. That's all. Straight face and everything. That's how I look, like you right now. Because so many different things was running through my mind. Like, what?
And none of it came out your mouth.
How is that the answer?
Mm.
Like, what? Yeah, we just have to do surgery.
Oh.
That's what he told me.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's disheartening, bro. That's disheartening.
Yeah. And then let's not talk about COVID and going to the hospital with COVID.
Mm.
That I feel like that was the new cop out for letting us die. That everybody died of COVID. Everybody did not die of COVID. Y'all, a lot of people died because y'all was out here playing Operation. Y'all wanted to play games with people because you knew if they died, you could just say, "Oh, it was COVID." And I will share my story, and that'll be our last story for tonight, because I did have COVID. Went to the hospital because I was having trouble breathing. Now, I went because I was having trouble breathing. Right? I felt like I needed oxygen. That is why I went to the emergency room. I sat in an emergency room for 2 hours and 27 minutes before anybody brought oxygen. And I know because I specifically kept looking at the clock. 2 hours and 27 minutes before they even brought me oxygen. Then they brought me oxygen. Then eventually they took us back, and we were in the back. And the next thing was, we were just there. Nobody came. Nobody came to check vitals. Nobody came to do anything. But then the next day, it was, okay, we want to do this test, this test, this test, and this. So I'm like, okay. And then as the nurse walked out the room, I was like, what does any of that have to do with me breathing?
Right.
I was like, and I just kept listening. Like,
Did you have good insurance?
Because I had good insurance. Apparently, they wanted to do this CAT scan and this thing and that thing. I have, because I had cancer in the past, it's a hard time to get an IV in me. So now they want to put a stent in, and I'm supposed to leave in the next few hours. I was supposed to leave. It was like 1:00. I was supposed to leave at 4, and then they come and go, oh, we want to do a CAT scan. So we're going to put a stent in and do the CAT scan in the next 3 hours. Not on me. No, you're not. Who came up with this idea? Which I was in the
Mm.
kitchen and said, you know what? Let's not let her go. They had the wrong one, not me. I said I will leave and be to my own devices. If it's my time, it's my time. Because y'all on some BS up in here. He said, "Oh, you could get a blood transfusion. The only risk with that is that we don't know the blood that they were giving blood transfusions during the peak of this pandemic. They were not testing for any of like hepatitis, HIV, or AIDS. So he was like, well, the only thing is that they don't know you might end up with blood that has HIV, but that we know how to treat HIV. We haven't figured out how to treat COVID. That was my nurse's exact words. Then it was the whole you need to lose weight thing. That's probably why you're having trouble breathing. Because after
Oh
they did all
man.
my vitals and ran my blood and saw that there was nothing else, I had no other pre-existing conditions. Oh, you just fat.
Yeah.
Like it's really bad. Like I've heard my coworkers be like, "Oh, my doctor prescribed me this, and my doctor gave me this, and it's been doing so well." And I'm like, "How come your doctor prescribed me you stuff? My doctor just keeps telling me I'm fat."
Girl, listen, the things that you hear just being melanated at the hospital.
Mhm.
All right. So if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That is the Melanin Mindset. Turn on those notification bells so that you can be amongst the first to know when the Melanin Mindset goes live. Y'all, thank you so much for vibing with us tonight. Please take some time to look up all of our social media streams. Follow us, and we will be back same time next week, right, friend?
Yes, we will.
That's the plan. All right. So, with that being said, thank you all again for tuning in tonight. Check out the melaninmindset.org and get your Melanin Mindset merch because if you are looking to be an official MF or everything you need to be, that is there. All right. So, we love y'all so much. Thank you so much. Protect your peace. Share with someone you care about. We out, y'all.